So I've been asked a couple of times how I connected up my Cube Controls F Pro wheel, as you can see here, to the VRS DFP15 using the VRS DFP15's USB pass-through. So this tutorial is going to show you how to use the internal cables through the quick release and not have to wrap your QCon cable around the outside so that you can have a cleaner look like this. Quick disclaimer before we get started. You do this at your own risk. I will not be liable for any mistakes or anything that you do that ends up frying your equipment. Always double check everything, check with the manufacturer for your wheel, and get advice when applicable. So what are you going to need to do this? Well, first of all, you need your wheel, obviously. In this case, it is Cube Controls F Pro wheel. I have in here, that's the connector we're going to connect to. This is a JST 2.54 4-pin, and you need the pin out diagram for this. Be warned though, with Cube Controls, while the pins remain in the same location, sometimes what happens is the white connector itself is rotated. So confirm everything before you proceed. To do so, what you will do is you will use a multimeter. In this case, I just have a crappy one, but it did the job. You just need to find where the 5 volt is, because that's the wire, or that's the pin that's most critical. You will also need a VRS quick release adapter, the one that comes with the wires that allow you for USB pass-through. It will probably come with one of these if it's the older stock. That is a Pico Blade 4-pin connector. It is the old style, but they are adjusting the design to possibly in the future use one of these. It's a USB Type-C connector. Now, if your quick release comes with the old style, you can go on the Discord and find there's somebody on there that is giving these USB-C type connectors away for free. You just pay for shipping as long as you have proof of purchase. But I believe this is going to be the new standard going forward. You are also going to need a USB-C male connector with a PCB breakout that has the pads for the data, positive and negative, voltage and ground connections. In case of the Cube Controls, this is the male version of that JST 2.54 4-pin. You're going to need that type of connector for your wheel. Whatever your wheel requires on the back of your wheel, you're going to need that connector. And I highly recommend you get it pre-crimped and pre-connected with cables, as you can see here. Color cables make it a lot easier. In this case, we have 4 pins, so we have 4 cables, and that's what we need. One for power, one for data, and one for the grounds for each. Lastly, you're going to need a soldering iron and possibly some Allen keys just to assemble everything. First things first, you are going to put in the USB-C type connector into your quick release if it doesn't come with it already. It's just 4 Allen keys. They're not shown here because I haven't reassembled it, but it goes in one way, one orientation. You will put it in, and that's the quick release setup. You will then have to solder these ends of this cable to the various pads on here. You will see them there, the D-, D+, ground and voltage. In the case of the Cube Controls, I'll put up the pin out diagram now. It should be the same for almost all Cube Controls wheels, but you will want to verify with a multimeter, as I said. And you will solder these connectors onto the various pads that are relative to the pins. So in this case, the black is your power, your red is your ground, and then the yellow and the white are your power, positive and negative for data. They'll get connected up here. What I did first is, because of this type connector, is I connected up the data in the middle first and then connected up the power on the outside. This is not going to be a tutorial on how to solder. You need to look that up yourself, but it's pretty straightforward. Once everything is connected back up, you've got the little JST connector into the back of your wheel. That may differ depending on your wheel. You got your USB cable connected up into your quick release. You just then need to connect your quick release back up to your wheel as you would normally. So that's essentially it. Once you connect it back up to your wheelbase, turn everything on, it'll operate in USB pass-through mode. Make sure that you have for Cube Controls specifically, you have it connected up for wired connection, not for Bluetooth. And if you are running into trouble, the possible problem that you might run into is you've wired up the data incorrectly, so it powers on, but your buttons don't work. Swap your data cables around. You probably just have them wired up in reverse polarity. So this was just a quick guide on how to do USB pass-through for wheels on the DFP15 from VRS. Hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope to see you in the next video.